Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back after the short break. You're watching Towards the Origin in conversation with Sheikh Qadi Lutfur Rahman with our tonight's topic, that is love for fame and authority. In our first segment, we have discussed about the illnesses and disease of our heart. We have discussed about the inward worship, outward worship, and we have also discussed about how we can get rid of those illnesses that one can have. And in this segment particularly, we'll be looking into more detail about the topic love for fame and authority. Now, Sheikh, if I can start this segment with the question, the title itself suggests there is no human being in the world who would not love fame, and that comes with whatever means, would it be the power, would it be the authority, and I think it's a natural thing within, even if one might not verbally confess, but it's something that's natural. Every human being deep down will appreciate, will applaud, will acknowledge it, and some sort of satisfaction people receive.
That's
now,
right.
One thing we have to understand, sometimes people work towards that direction. Sometimes Allah, by His own will, blesses or bestows that person with that ni'mah. Now, also we have to understand an aspect, this ni'mah is a ni'mah if it is with iman. It is not a ni'mah if there is no iman. Now, why is this that the love for fame and authority is something that is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is very highly frowned upon in Islam?
Now, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, we can observe a noticeable disease in many people. When I say disease, I would say why, which is excessive love for fame and authority. Now, a moderation love everybody will have, but excessive, doing everything to be famous, to have a name, to have a fame, to build up a profile, or to be in the position of authority, or to be leaders in community, or to be a chairman in the mosque, for example.
Self-proclaimed leaders now we see these days.
Yeah, self-appointed. And also you've got, to be a secretary in a masjid, in a mosque. And we find a lot of problems in our society connected to that love for fame and authority. People ready to actually do a lot, which are bad, in order to achieve those excessive love for fame and authority.
And just to add, sometimes in order to do that, people even forget they have families, they have responsibility to their children, and they dedicate themselves to other things.
As an imam, I have seen half the problems, not in one mosque, but in most of the mosques, are related to this problem, that love for authority, leadership, meaning a lot of people have that eagerness or that love for the leadership, and they want to be leaders.
And at the same time, I'll be also echoing something else, that is that we're not criticizing what we're doing, the mosque itself, but we need to be critical about our own affairs, because otherwise how will we develop ourselves? MashaAllah, there are a lot of mosques out there doing a lot of khair, but I think we're talking about individuals that are involved.
That not every leadership is bad. I don't mean to say condemn the leadership, but we're coming to that point. Now, but we can see that nowadays we live at a time when we are in the time of social media. You see why people keep on taking the photos, unnecessary images, video clips, and keep on sharing on social media.
Maximizing their friend limits.
Facebooks, and you talk about all other social media. Why? There are so many unnecessary actions are taking place. And I'll tell you one thing. Every unnecessary action can bring problem in your life. There is a possibility, and we found it. People sharing images, videos, which resulted in severe problems later on.
Just to add a little bit, sharing those kind of their own success stories, I understand, but sometimes people share the picture of their babies, picture of their wife.
I mean, how they're eating, what food they're consuming.
That's very true. But one of the elements I think I need to discuss, if you can touch upon it, like people when they get married, and if they have been blessed with a very good-looking or beautiful spouse. Now, what's that got to do with sharing it with your friends?
So you see, people are somehow, I think, I don't want to judge anyone's intention.
No, we're not judging intention. We're talking on normal academic level.
People have that back in their mind, that they want something behind, something. There is an intention behind that. Sharing images, wherever you've been, where I went to, which places I went to, and vastly to people that you know and to people that you do not know. So you're sharing to the people even that you don't know.
And the other fact is, that we have got the like button. Now, if there is not certain amount of like, we think that we have not achieved the success.
You see, connected to the love for fame and authority, or fame and status and profile in society. Now, I want to mention the consequences of the excessive love and authority. What did Islam, Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam say? There is a hadith on the authority of Shaddad ibn Aws radiallahu anhu, mentioned in the book of Imam ibn Majah rahmatullah alayhi. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna akhwafa ma atakhawafu ala ummati al-ishraku billah." So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that what I fear the most amongst my followers is associating partnership with Allah. Ishrak billah, which is known as shirk. Then he said, "Ama inni lastu aqul ya'buduna shamsan wala qamaran wala wathanan." Then he said, I don't mean to say that people will be worshipping the sun or the moon or idols. I don't mean to say that. I don't mean to say that shirk. Then he said, "Walakin a'malan li ghayrillah." But people will be doing actions to please others instead of Allah and instead of the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I just want to clarify one thing. If somebody does something to please someone, like parents, like teacher, that's okay as long as the ultimate intention is to please Allah. Sometimes we need to do certain things to make our parents happy.
Now the intention for that and intention to achieve some success or fame are completely different. Like we fear our parents. And we fear a thug, our hooligan. It's two different type of fear.
Exactly. Yes.
We can't accommodate those two fear into one platform.
No. So ولكن أعمالا لغير. So Prophet ﷺ said that people will be doing actions to please others than Allah, and this is considered as al-ishraq, like a minor types of shirk. Then he said وشهوة خفية, hidden desires. He mentioned hidden desires.
Like, for example, hidden desires.
Imam Abu Dawud al-Sijistani rahmatullah was asked, Imam, what is this? What is shahwa al-khafiyya? What is hidden desires? Then he said, hubb al-ri'asa, love for the authority, love for leadership, love for power. Now, whether I deserve or not, whether I'm qualified or not, whether I have credential or not, but I just want to be someone important
and then
in society.
Successively abusing the position.
Absolutely right, and this is what's happening in many cases.
And many of the Muslim law are filled with all of this that we are discussing.
So hubbur ri'asa, that love for just to be a leader, whether deserving or without deserving, this is a common problem in many people, which even bring a lot of problem in society as well. So Prophet ﷺ was right when he said shahwa khafiyya, that this can be something that he feared the most amongst the ummah of Muhammad, of himself. And then this problem, I just want to also touch upon that it is not only amongst the laymen, like the awam, the normal ordinary people, but this can reach to many of the people who are supposed to be the people of piety, the people of taqwa, people of ilm, knowledge, scholars, huffaz, qurra, reciters. Many of us, unfortunately, even imams, we may have this problem because shaitan is so clever that when he goes to a layman, he goes as a layman, and when he goes to a scholar, he goes as a scholar. So sometimes shaitan comes to some of the mashayikh, the scholars, and share, you're doing Allah, you are doing a lot for Allah, the Almighty. Now you're supposed to be the most important person. So this love for fame and authority and love for profile and name, hubb al-jah or hubb al-sulta, can even affect the people who are even the people of the knowledge and people of piety. And none of us free from this disease, and we seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us. And even like a lot of time we see people, we are on the screen of TV. May Allah protect that. Many of us may have the intention to be famous through the media. But if that is the intention, then we're not going to be able to bring the change in society.
This is where, again, another thing, that fame is not only involved with the position, power and wealth associated, because a lot of time people would also criticize because the fame comes in today's age and time, social media and the television broadcast media.
Exactly.
People who are presenters, people who are guests. Now, a lot of times the intention might be right, but then again, it might lead to what we have seen, arrogance, pride.
Yeah, exactly.
And trying to distance ourselves, belittling others.
Thinking self-importance.
That's
feeling
correct.
Like I'm the most important, I'm the most famous celebrity.
Not even replying. There are allegations of, we have seen and we have heard that a lot of the people after they've become famous might not even respond to the salam given to them.
We may have this problem, yes, and this is again severe. It's a consequence. And why Prophet ﷺ said, "I fear the most amongst my ummah shahwa khafiyya," hidden desires. And Abu Dawud rahmatullah alayhi, he explains this as the hubb al-ri'asa, love for authority, leadership, fame, and all those things. Even Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith mentioned in the book of Imam al-Bukhari rahmatullah alayhi on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, where the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that إنكم ستحرصون على الإمارة. Many of you will have a lot of love and zeal for the leadership, that you want to be leaders. Okay? Then he said, وستكون ندامة يوم القيامة. You will regret immensely on the day of judgment, on the day of Qiyamah. Why? Because when leadership brings a lot of responsibilities, and remember we said every one of us will be questioned about our responsibility on the day of judgment. كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. Now, the more important leader or more important a person of authority you become, the more responsibilities lie on your shoulder.
So it starts from home, then a community, mosque,
and the more
and
you
so
become,
on.
The more
and the highest one is the state level.
And I must say, this is the reason why our Sahaba companions radiallahu anhum, none of them they seek the leadership. None of them wanted to be leaders.
Even the Khulafa Rashideen, they never wanted that.
Wanted to be leaders. Even the early scholars, take the examples of Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, the big Imams of Islam, they always tried to avoid the positions of authority, because it is not because they were not qualified, but because they feared the responsibilities. They didn't want to be questioned by Allah. Let's even touch upon another important point. Even the muftis, the pious muftis, those who have the authority to give fatwas, those who are qualified to give fatwas, verdicts, they used to always refer to their colleagues. So if you went to a mufti, he would say, please, if you can kindly go to that mufti, because he didn't want to be responsible. Because he will be counted for his word.
Now, this is where I want to ask a very relevant question. These days we see any person or any random a person who's got or read a little bit of few books, now they give the issues fatwa, haram and halal straight away without dalil. But this is haram or that's haram or this is halal.
And every one of us, we have that love for also answering the questions.
Yes.
We all want to say something.
And we don't want to say, I don't know.
And Imam Malik rahmatullah alayhi, once he was asked 40 questions, famous incident, 37 questions he said, I don't know.
Imam Malik.
And people of his time witnessed that لا يفتى ومالك في المدينة, that no one has the audacity to give fatwa while Imam Malik is in Medina al-Munawwara. He was from Medina, he was a Madani, Medina al-Munawwara. So now, again, every one of us, we want to feel important, because when we give, even a scholar asked a question, you see someone else comes in and say, oh, this is how it is, that's how I have seen, that's how I've read, and that's how it is. And it is maybe people again want to feel the importance, or they want to feel important.
And I think there should be a strong message to the younger generation who have studied a little bit of few books around, who have been a little bit of seen a little bit of YouTube videos, the Sheikh Facebook or the Mufti Google things. Now they need to be a little bit of careful.
Yes, I mean,
but it's not our job to give any fatwas.
We live at a time, really, we live at a time which can be considered as a time of fitna, a lot of tests and tribulation. Alhamdulillah, the religious activities are increasing, but at the same time,
the challenges are also increasing.
Now, therefore, the continuous guidance is important. Guidance, al-irshadat, the guidance are from our elders, from the rightly guided and righteous scholars and righteous people. The guidance is always important. Otherwise, easily we can be misguided.
And the other aspect is Quran is clear about it. If you do not have any ilm about any particular issue or subject,
وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِعِلْمٍ.
Do not even speak about it. Refer to the right direction if you can.
Now,
And if you don't know, say I don't know, and that's it.
Now, some of the ulama even, you're right, absolutely right. Some of the scholars, believe me, they wrote books, but we can't find the names because they didn't want
Very
to
anonymous.
They didn't anonymous. Yeah, they didn't want to be known in public because they wanted rewards from Allah Tabaraka wa Taala. Now, Prophet ﷺ said that تكون ندامة يوم القيامة. You'd regret really badly because the more responsibilities you take on your shoulder, you will be questioned more. However, a rightly qualified person who have the
relevant qualifications
to be leaders, if the leadership come to them, they don't also reject. If everyone says, "Oh, I don't want to be leader," it's bad. Then who is going to?
There has to be check and balance.
There has to be balance, and if it comes like Khulafa al-Rashidin, like Sahaba radiallahu, like early Imams, if it came to them and if they felt that they can carry out this responsibility, the great mission, then they wouldn't reject. They would also take the responsibility. You can take the examples of imama. We have seen at times in certain occasions, some people they come in, they just want to, maybe if you're in a wedding or if you're somewhere outside, you don't know who is more qualified, who can recite better. Some people have that love for being imam. So they come and present themselves.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
I mean, oh, do you want to say qama, brother? So they just want to be imam. Now, in those kind of situations, if someone can see himself to be a good reciter, really, then he can present himself. Because
in a humble manner,
in a humble way,
with humility.
Absolutely, no, that's right. Because I have seen at times, there were times I regretted why I didn't present myself. Because at times I asked some other people to lead, and it was designed. Even Surah Al-Fatiha wasn't recited.
And even sometimes you'd see they do not even hesitate. Whereas the true ulama will hesitate to lead when there are other people around him.
Sign of a true scholar is that you will find him hesitating to take any lead, any important responsibility, especially if it's to do with the accountability.
And the other element that you mentioned about here, one of the alamat as-sa'a is the leaders, that the actual true leaders won't be in the leadership, and the people who are not even considered to be close enough to the leadership race will become the leader of the society.
Exactly. This is a sign of alamatul qiyamah, sign of qiyamah as well. Now, how people look or seek the love of the fame and authority. We find two ways people. Sometimes people spend money, sometimes people spend a lot of strength to directly seek that authority.
There's a new term now there's a new term, networking.
Yes. So now you have people go out and they boast, I'm the best, I can do this, I can do that. This person is not qualified. So we look down upon others.
Selling ourselves.
And talk bad about others and keep promoting ourselves. This is a way, as far as I'm concerned, as far as Islam is concerned, this is not a right way to seek the leadership, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Holy Quran, تِلْكَ الدَّارُ الْآخِرَةِ نَجْعَلُهَا لِلَّذِينَ لَا يُرِيدُونَ عُلُوًّا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا فَسَادًا. That this is Jannah which has been prepared for the people who didn't want to be high in this dunya, in this world, who didn't seek to be very famous and the people of authority, but for the people who are humble. Jannah has been prepared for them. Also, we can, again, there can be another way where people, or through another method, people want to seek that fame and authority through deen, religion itself.
We see now YouTube stars now.
So sometimes people might be doing some lectures to be famous. The imama, khataba, delivering khutbah, reciting the Quran. Some people might want fame through recitation of the Holy Quran.
But now the new trend has started. You've seen the YouTube channels, the online channels. We've got self-proclaimed da'is.
You're right. So we've
there are a lot of followers there, and without any proper qualification.
Yep. And scholars said this is even more dangerous. Someone who wants to be famous by or through the religion of Allah, because religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is meant to please Him, not to achieve something personal, not to achieve any personal interest.
And just to clarify that we're not attacking any person, because obviously we're not taking any name. We're not attacking any person or individual, just in case people get it wrong. In general, the conversation,
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I mean, that's the reason why I said that we want to talk about ourselves.
And if we need to develop
Every one
ourselves,
of
we
us
need to be critical about ourselves.
Every one of us, we can be the victim. We can be the part of these problems.
Yes.
So we have to really look at ourselves and purify ourselves. Now, I want to mention, after saying that people can seek the fame and authority in many different ways, I would like to mention some of the symptoms that can be seen. And if those symptoms are there, then most likely that individual may have the problem or the excessive love for fame and authority. So, namely, number one, we have al-ujb bin nafs, self-importance. Always feeling that he's important or she's important. وَكَثْرَةُ مَدْحِهَا. And then some people, they want to praise a lot themselves. Oh, I've done this, I was there, I've been to that many countries, I've achieved this. Now, moderately sharing a blessing of Allah, a favor of Allah with close family, with students, with family and friends, it's okay, because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Ana sayyid waladi Adam." He said, "I'm the best of the human beings." And he said, "Amma bi ni'mati rabbika fahaddith." If Allah blessed you with a ni'mah, then you can share that ni'mah with
through
others.
halal source.
Yes, in a moderate manner. But that shouldn't be a case of repeating and talking continuously about oneself, that I'm this, I'm that, I've done this, I've done that.
I mean, nowadays it's quite usual to say in seminars and big gatherings and business networking is to promote ourselves, is to boast ourselves.
Self-promotion.
It's all about that. I can do this. I will do this. I'm so and so.
You see, so we're kind of lost in the aims and objective of our religion, and not only our religion, all the major religions. Now, also another symptom can be there when people do not like, when people always want to be called with some big titles. Sheikh, Allama, this, doctor, so sometimes
barristers, solicitors, lawyers, engineers.
Yeah, people want to be called with names. Now, it's okay to introduce and
in a professional gathering.
This is okay, this is what I do. But always love to be called with big alqab, big titles, again, can be a symptom of that problem.
I mean, we've come into the end of our tonight's program, inshallah. I mean, thank you very much. I would love to hear more, discuss more. There are a lot of things and challenges that are there.
If possible, I mean, if inshallah, maybe we can continue that topic next
inshallah.
Friday.
I mean, there are a lot of questions I've personally had in my mind, but obviously due to the scarcity of time, as always, the hour is up and we have to conclude here. And I thank you very much for your beautiful contribution, and I hope the knowledge that you've shared, our audience, inshallah, viewers, including myself, we've enlightened.
And myself as well. And inshallah, maybe we can talk about the treatment or healing, how we can deal with this problem.
Inshallah.
Perhaps next week, if Allah give us the ability.
Ameen. Thank you very much. With this, my dear viewers, we have come to the conclusion of our tonight's discussion. A topic that we have discussed, love for fame and authority. A very important topic, a disease and illness, unfortunately, that has affected our community everywhere, every seminar, every event that we go to. You all, as the Sheikh have mentioned, hear about more or less self-proclamation, self-compliments, thinking about, boasting about our ability, boasting about our achievements. Now, there are certain things we have learned from our today's discussion. The first is intention. We have to purify our intention. We have to always keep our intention in check. If there is any issue, we have to always reevaluate that why am I doing certain aspect, or why am I doing certain things? Why am I involved with charity? Why am I involved with any project? We need to always renew our intention. The second thing is, as Muslims living as a minority, living in a Western part of the world, in a developing country, we have to realize our potential. What are we good at? Some may be good at education, some may be good at politics, some may be good at teaching, some may be good at broadcast media. Whatever we are, we have to recognize our potential and work toward that direction with the intention to serve the community, to society at large, and benefit themselves and others. And then we have to always keep ourselves as Muslim, we have to aim that we learn. We always have to be the student of knowledge, always understand the knowledge, gain power and knowledge. And the last thing is, we have to fight with the inner enemy, the ego, the illness that we have, that Sheikh has mentioned. And lastly, we have to learn to manage priorities. With this, I have come to the conclusion of our tonight's discussion. Inshallah, looking forward to see you again in our near episode or future episode. Till we meet again, subhanak Allahumma wa hamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.